exchange it right in the money changer,
Yes.
the banks?
Correct. Legal ways. But you know, if you pass through the black market, I mean, that's a big risk. You don't know if it's counterfeit or, you know, something like that. But if it's physical, then you would go to the bank or a legal money changer. Online, though, if you have been trading online, then, you know, you go through your broker and just sell it. And then you get the amount back.
You just talked about online. So how is that? How's the commission for that for a trader?
Well,
And is there a minimum to trade Forex online?
yes. First, the commissions. No? The basic charge of the broker is a simple spread. If you've gone to the bank, you notice that there are two rates in the bank when you buy dollars, for example, the buy rate and the sell rate. The difference between the buy rate and the sell rate, let's say 50 centavos, that's the spread. That's basically the charge of the bank to you when you buy and sell on the same day. So you buy today, you pay this much. You say, okay, I want to sell it back to you, bank. They'll get it to you 50 cents less.
Yes, yes.
So they make
money.
a profit of 50 cents for every unit that you buy from them. That's the charge of the bank. It's the same with the broker. So online, think of it as an online bank. I mean, it's not the best example, but think of it as an online bank. Make it simple. And then when you buy a currency, you buy it at a higher price. When you sell it back, you sell it at a slightly lower price. So the difference is called the spread, and that's the only commission that they get. Taxes is a whole different ballgame. First of all, I would recommend, if the BIR is watching, I would recommend that you pay your taxes, of course. But you see, the thing is, while your money is abroad, and the brokers that we talk about are offshore, you're not taxed in that country. For example, in the UK, because you're not a citizen of that country. You have to just fill out the form saying, hey, I am not a resident here, so my money is just there, please do not tax me. At the same time, since the trade is still ongoing, you're not sure if you're winning or losing, you're not taxed here because the money is there. But the only time that you get taxed is when you start withdrawing the money. When it lands Philippine soil, then you basically just pay the tax, and you declare that as part of your ITR, right?
Yeah, the earnings.
Correct.
The whole transaction, the earnings.
Yes, the whole transaction.
What about you talked about the online Forex trading.
Yep.
What are the sites that they can go to be able to do online trading?
Well, you can go to many broker sites. However, be careful about just going to anyone. I would suggest instead of going directly to a broker, you pass through the club, forexclubasia.com, because we vet and screen the brokers that we deal with, for not just for me, but for all the members that I have, 2,000 plus strong. And so go through forexclubasia.com. There are links there, like open an account, and then you'll see the brokers that we recommend. But don't go directly to any broker, especially now, because a lot of, I would say, people with money-making ideas will start to take advantage of you, and they build a company, and then they claim that it's a legitimate broker when they're not. They're not regulated properly, so don't go straight to any broker. Don't just Google them and then go. Because
what about the requirements? Kanina we had a question about what's the age for investing.
Yeah.
It's 18.
Same thing, yeah, 18. And I would suggest that, yeah, if you're underage, go through what you said, go through your parent or a guardian, yeah, and make them help you make decisions, because you're at that age, you're still not very familiar with the things of the world, right?
Yes, yes.
I did have a student, though, who was 13 years old. She was very, very astute in terms of money, and she wanted to invest, and she wanted to learn. And of course, I asked her, please get the consent of your parent to attend my class, and please note, you will not be able to open an account if you do not pass through your parent. The broker simply will not allow it. So the requirement, basically, age is 18 and above. I would even prefer 21 and above.
Pero the legal age kasi is 18.
Yes, the legal age, but I would suggest 21 or older. And then you just have to fill up a form online. And then once you get approval from approval for that, you just have to submit 2 documents. One would be your proof of residence, if you have a billing statement from Meralco or whatever. And then government-issued ID, whether a passport or a driver's license or an SSS ID, something
Anything
that's
with
current.
picture.
With picture is required. So those are the only two
Startup.
things. That's it. Now, the startup capital is very small, relatively small. It's only $300.
$300, yeah.
And I suggest you only start with $300, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So don't put in everything that you've got. Just put in $300 and then try to make that grow. That's it.
And so I think maybe you should also tell them your class. You're going to have a class
Yeah.
for Forex. Yeah.
I have an upcoming crash course. It's totally worth it. It's going to be on February 24, just for 4 hours. 4 hours, that's 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. And in that 4 hours, I teach you how I trade. There are a lot of ways to trade the Forex market. What I do is I teach you the system that I've developed since '98 until now, and tell you when it's time. That system that I'm going to teach you will more or less give you an idea of when to buy or sell, let's say, the dollar, when to buy or sell the euro and all other currencies. And I simplified it to a point that it's a matter of color coding. All my students know how to buy or sell any currency just by looking at 2 color combinations.
Okay.
If you want to know those 2 color combinations, go on February 24.
Okay. So, well, we're going to get into our discussion again. We'll just have to take a break.
Sure.
And so we'll see you in a few minutes. You're watching Investment Academy at the Business Portal. We'll see you in a few minutes. Good morning once again. You are watching Investment Academy at the Business Portal. So now for our learning session, Building Pillars of Wealth, why it's wise and prudent to accept that money does make our world go round. What are the pillars, the 7 pillars of wealth? First, we already talked about the income security. Second is the health protection. Third is the education funding. And the fourth, we'll talk about the retirement planning. What is retirement planning? So retirement planning is actually when you have saved enough for your old age. When, of course, when you become empty nesters, you also ask yourself, do you have funds to enjoy the golden years, or would you rather ask money from your children? Of course, you don't want to do that. And then another thing is, do you want to enjoy a hobby that you've always dreamed of, that you couldn't do while you were working like 9 to 5 or working like a horse to provide for our family? And the fourth is, do you want to teach your children and your grandchildren on a grand vacation? Sometimes you see, oh wow, how can they afford that? How can that Lola and Lola bring all their family and all their grandchildren on a trip to a cruise or Hong Kong or somewhere? Because they already have saved up for their retirement. And it just doesn't come like that. It's actually a disciplined savings. And that's just a ballpark figure, no? How much, kunyari, you need 40,000 for a month this year. How much do you actually need after 20 years? Let's say you're 40 right now and you're going to be retiring in 20 years. That 40,000 will be around 128,000 in 28 years. So you have to find ways on how to make that money grow. Of course, right now we are talking about Forex. There's also the stock market. You know, you have to actually invest your money in a place where it will exceed inflation. Because if your money cannot exceed inflation, malulugi yung money mo. Your money, like your 40,000 now, will not buy as much as 40,000 20 years from now. That's why you have to really start planning. For our business, and then tune in next week for our next pillar, which is the long-term care. You might be wondering what the long-term care is. So watch our show next week. So for our finance news slide, we have a slide for that. So for as of yesterday, the stock market was down 18.51. The index was 4,802.03. It opened at 4,796.17. It went on a high of 4,812.5, and it went on a low of 4,779.36. For our peso dollar exchange rate, it opened 42.44. It went on a high of 42.350, and it went on a low of 42.550 at average at 42.461. For our business news, okay, for our business news, we also have a slide for that. Okay, we'll just wait for it later. So again, for our, you said that you will have
Yeah,
a class this February 24.
that's right. Yeah.
And usually how big is the class?
Well, the class can vary, you know. Sometimes it's 5 students, sometimes it's 40. So anywhere between those numbers. The class will be, again, 1:30 to 5:30 held at my office. It's not going to be free because you're really going to learn a lot. But it's not going to be very expensive. So the cost is actually 5,250. But for the viewers here and those who want to enroll first, it's 4-5. And you just have to call our office. Should I be saying?
Yes, please.
If you're interested, please call our office 687-4445 or 687-3416 or 687-4645. Look for Isa King or Cynthia Montiel.
Or maybe email also.
You can also email us at marksaw@forexclubasia.com. So again, marksaw@forexclubasia.com if you're interested. Or you can also friend me on Facebook. My handle is Forex Guru on Facebook. You can find me there, and you can just friend me.
Okay, so there you go. And maybe if they text me, I'll answer them.
Yeah,
That's
please,
your number.
yeah.
So for 2012, what
Yeah.
do we have to look forward to? Of course, definitely
yeah.
not the first world countries right now. No, we're
Right.
not looking into that right now. Tama ba
Right.
ako?
Definitely, the money is still here in Asia.
Yeah.
So I was asking people yesterday. I had a class also yesterday. The Europe is not doing so well. It hasn't been doing so well for the past 3 years. The U.S. economy is not doing so well, but it's already improving. It's sluggish, but it's improving. And then the peso, or the Philippines, so let's just take a look at the three. The Philippines is actually enjoying, one of those boom times where the crisis in the U.S. and the first world countries actually made the money go to Asia. However, I was saying to my class yesterday, I'm going to say this now, I believe that the Philippines' growth or the economic growth of the Philippines will last this year. Next year, however, 2013, might be a little tougher.
But isn't it election year as well? Is
Part
it
of it,
that's it why it's going to be tough?
part of it, yes. But also based on my study of the charts and looking at the fundamental picture worldwide, I believe that there will be a slight pause in the growth of the Philippines, as well as most of Asia. It's just natural, when you're trading, let's say, the stock market, there's an impulse move and then there's a correction. So I believe that we will experience a little bit of a correction next year. So I was asking them, between the three, where would you put your money? Euro, peso, or dollar? So I'll ask the same from you.
Peso.
So peso right now, yes.
Peso right now, but it's actually